Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be using some Use It Up pages in my Use It Up journal and the Collage Collective book from Dina Wakley. So this is the background I'm working on. It's one I've been putting in excess paint, stencils, cleaning off on them, and just generally bits and pieces. But I love the colours, so I didn't want to do too much to it. So I'm just going in with some gel medium, and I've got these torn up pieces of tissue paper from the Dina Wakley first release of tissues that she had. I never really used the patterned tissues all that much, and now I'm really annoyed because I've used them all up and I need to get another set of them, but they're a little bit hard to find around here at the moment. So once I find them I will get some more. But I love the way they sort of blend into the background. Now, one of the things I have found with the tissue papers is you have to be very generous with your matte medium when you're gluing it down to get it as translucent as possible. And I have actually found that if you use gloss gel medium, it works a lot better. At this stage, I've just finished off last of my gloss gel, so I'm just using matte. It has mostly blended in. You can still see the background coming through. You kind of have that a little bit of a white haze, but it didn't bother me too much for a change because I knew I was going to add a little bit of stuff over the top. So it just depends on what you want. Once I've finished drying the layers, I'm deciding what I want to do next, and I was pulling out, I think, some of the liquid acrylic paints, possibly. No, my Dina Wakley paints. I was trying to find my magenta, which, as you can see, doesn't have very much left in it. So I'm trying to match some of the colours from the background, and I'm just using my fingers. I've had a bit of a play at the moment where I just don't get a paintbrush out because it's not too difficult, but I just can't be bothered, so I just get my hands in and put my paint on with my fingers, which I actually quite like. I love the feel of it, and it just makes it feel a little bit more me. I also find that if I'm actually applying it with my fingers, I can blend the colours much more easily than I can if I'm just using a paintbrush. While paintbrushes are really, really handy and are useful for so many things, your fingers are there for a reason, so why not use them? If you've got wet wipes around, it doesn't take too long to clean your fingers off, especially while it's still wet. So I'm going in with some of the Tim Holtz stencils and just removing some of the paint. So I've got paint over the top of my collage pieces, but you can still see them popping through from the background. And as you can see, the colours I've chosen to add over the top are colours that are present in the background, so I'm not adding in a ridiculous amount of new colours. I'm kind of keeping it to the same colour scheme that was in the background, and I find that's a really handy trick when you're working in your Use It Up journal, and you can have such a jumble of colours sometimes. If you start adding in lots and lots of more new colours, it can start looking a little bit overwhelming, so keep it to the colours you can kind of see in the background. Because I'd lost that beautiful yellowy colour, I decided to add in some cheddar, and I'm really glad I did. The cheddar and turquoise and magenta work beautifully together. It's almost reminiscent of colour printing, where you've got the cyan, magenta and yellow. So they work sort of really well together. So as I was doing this and drawing the background, I had my collage collective there. Sorry for the little jump there. And I had all these circles already cut out. Now these are one of the pages from the Dina Wakley Collage Collective that she's brought out. There's two sets, there's 50 pages I think, of two lots of prints, and they're double-sided, of all her artwork. And I struggled to use it to begin with, and now I'm just using it non-stop. The reason particularly I love it, apart from beautiful artwork, is because I do actually own so much of Dina Wakley Media products, and she uses her products making her artwork. I can match the colours really, really well with the art that I'm doing, so it kind of looks seamless that you've got her art and my art put together. And I think that's a really clever thing. You can notice in the background, it's sort of turquoise in those circles that is printed. It matches the turquoise that I've got on my journal page, same with the pink. So it helps to blend everything together. You don't have something really sticking out from the background all that much. Now you can see I'm working across a seam in my book, and I'm pre-folding my collage pieces before I glue it down. That just helps you to get a really good stick to your page as you're going down. Because the pieces are double-sided, you can choose which side of the circle you use. So you can see me in some cases sort of turning over and seeing which page or which piece works in best. And you also make the choice of whether you want to put everything on or not. So there's one little circle with the birds on it that I decided not to use. So now I'm just going over top and heating it up. The gel medium I'm using is a matte gel medium, so it doesn't leave a shine. You can see that shine going off the pages when I'm finished. And after I'd done that, I decided I needed to just frame up the artwork a little bit. So I'm going in with my Stabilo Oil pencil, and I'm going to do some scratchy circles. So holding my pencil a little bit higher up than I normally would, and just making some really loose circles over the top. Now, the trick to doing this is to do it more than once. If you do a circle and it's a bit wonky and you do it once, it looks like it's wonky. If you do it a few times, it looks deliberate. Don't know how that works, but it's a bit of a trick of the eye. I'm also going in and kind of putting some tally marks or barbed wire marks on some of the circles, just to add a little bit of interest and mark making into it. Again, I suppose, to make those markings look deliberate. I think sometimes when we do mark making, it kind of looks accidental. So if you go in and do these little tiny little details, it actually makes it look like you've actually meant to do it, which sounds silly because I know you mean to do it, but I think some people looking at art sometimes just don't get it. I just like doing little things like that. I'm then going into the background and just doing really quick scribbly marks, and now I'm water activating Stabilo Oil pencil. And you can see how the ink bleeds out instantly, and it's one of the reasons I really love that pencil. So it acts like an ink, so you can see it dripping down the page, and I'm sponging some of it off, but I'm leaving some of it as well. I love that sort of wicking out and the depth of colour that you get. You sort of get those scratchy lines still, and then you get these really dark bits where it's been water activated and then it's sponged off, so you get a lot of shading just from using one pencil. I know Dina in classes sort of calls it a magic pencil, and I can see why she calls it that, because you can just do so many things with one pencil. So once I finished the page, I decided to need some words on it, and up in front of me I used this sticker on something else. It didn't work, so I pulled it off, and it was sitting there waiting for something, and it was perfect for this page. Less perfection, more authenticity, because this is just being me, not worrying about being perfection, but I've just really loved how it came together, and it was so quick. This took about, I think I've only sped this up twice, so it took about 16 minutes to do. So I hope you enjoyed this little glimpse into my Use It Up journal and using the Collage Collective. Until next time, bye for now.